Hello, everyone. We are live once again. Thursday. It's Open Source Gardening with the Anchor Open Source team. I'm Alan, and with me are Alex, Will, Keith, and Chris. Hello, everyone. How are you doing? A little wave. Everyone's still alive. Yes, it's getting towards the end of the week, but we're all still here. So we do this every Thursday, mostly, and we use this as an opportunity to go through some GitHub issues and other open source activities related to our wonderful open source tools, Syft and Grype, and a whole bunch of other tools, which we may talk about. And you'll find all of our open source stuff on GitHub, which is at github.com/Anchore. And if you want to watch this live, you can do on Thursdays, but also if you want to watch it afterwards, that's entirely reasonable as well. And so we sometimes recommend doing that at double speed on a Friday when you're watching, so that this whizzes by. Or if it's something you like to listen to at bedtime to get you to go to sleep, that's fine as well. We won't be offended. I've certainly told people that I listen to their content to get me to sleep. Everything's fine. So we're going to go through a bunch of stuff, but before we do, I wanted to mention a couple of things. I wonder if I have the account open. Hold on just one second. First thing, last week, I hijacked our community hour that we usually have for open people to come in and join a Zoom call. I hijacked that slot and took it for an OSS community spotlight. And I've just made this video live. You'll find it on our Anchor open source YouTube channel, sorry. And this was jolly good fun. I had a chat with Nicholas, who works on Megalinter, which is a tool that uses Syft and Grype, and a whole load of other linting tools. And it was wonderful to have a chat about where Megalinter came from and motivation for maintaining it. And so we just sat down and had a little chat. And you'll find that I'll put a link in the notes underneath this video to that one. But just click, if you're already watching this, then just click on the channel and you'll find it. It's right near the top because I just made it public about 5 minutes ago. But we'll put out a little post about it all over the socials and all that kind of stuff. But that's another one to look at. We're going to have more of these as we go on, where we'll invite people to come on and talk about what they do with our tools and how they contribute to our tools and how our tools contribute to their tools. It's all good stuff. So the focus this week, though, is on our stuff. So chaps, is there anything anyone wants to mention or talk about before we dive in?
Later today, I'm going to merge a change to the funnel Red Hat provider. So if you see, you shouldn't, but if you see huge variation in Red Hat matching behavior starting tomorrow morning, that's my fault. Bring me on GitHub and we'll get it sorted. But yeah, Red Hat has announced that the old oval file format will not support Red Hat 10 when that comes out. So we're switching to the new CSAF file format. The data is mostly identical, but in a really different format. So a really different path to get to the same database. Hopefully going live tonight and hopefully no impact at all. But let us know.
Nice. Is there a PR that anyone can keep an eye on? That which one is it? If you ping us a link, we can.
Oh yeah, I can.
Interested in the gory details of how that works.
You want to see a Python PR that needed a lot of comments to make sense? I can send you one. That was in the chat there.
Wonderful.
In the meeting chat.
Thanks. I'll grab hold of that and just pop it up. If you want to mention anything about it, like in any depth, feel free. Yeah, this is golly. Yeah, quite a few files changed there. Well done. Nice. Oh golly, 4,000 editions. My.
There's some test cases. I also had to move a test fixture directory. So there's like 30 or 40 largest JSON files that were just renamed, which inflates the diff quite a bit. But yeah, so it's kind of an interesting change. The industry has published vulnerability data in oval XML, that's OVAL XML files for many years, and that has like a it's sort of like a DSL for describing whether a system is vulnerable. So it'll be something like, if there's an RPM with this version and it's installed and this system setting is configured, then consider the system vulnerable or whatever. And that's one of the sources we use for Grype's databases, Oval XML, published by Azure Linux, published by Red Hat. I think SUSE also publishes over Oval XML. Um, and everybody seems to be eager to switch to CSAF, which is like the new spec. I will say it's JSON, which is a little nicer. There are also some real differences in terms of how to get the data out of it. Maybe that's its own long topic. I don't know if we want to start that long topic right now. But yeah, feel free to we could start a thread on the discourse or ask me questions on the PR or whatever. It's kind of interesting and it's top of mind right now. So if you're curious about like the mechanism where like a Linux distro publishes their vulnerability data and people can consume it and do matching based on it, I've just spent a lot of time there and I'd be happy to talk about it.
Nice. Thanks for that. Looking forward to that landing. Good. I know you will be looking forward to like being complete with that piece of work, for sure. I completely understand. Something I also wanted to briefly show off that I've been behind the scenes while you're talking. Thank you for filling for me. I wanted to mention this. We've hit 30 million downloads of Syft and Grype just today. I didn't know. I was kindly tipped off about this by our wonderful CEO, who said, "Hey, I think we're going to hit 30 million downloads today." And yeah, I did some maths and popped up a spreadsheet, and yeah, absolutely, combined Syft and Grype, tons of downloads. So people are using this thing really in anger and in pleasure, I'm sure. Yeah, it's gone from like both of them have multiplied by 10 over the course of like less than 3 years. It's gone from like 2 million Syft downloads up to like 20 million. And yeah, it's a similar kind of growth curve for Grype as well. So yeah, I threw together this little image, which you'll see all over our social media. Please feel free to share when you see it. It goes out a little bit later today. It's all timed around other stuff. But yeah, well done, chaps, for making something so wonderfully downloadable. Good work. Good work. Anyone else got anything else to mention?
No, I mean, I think like another PSA is that we have the latest DBV6 schema, so which is usually pretty transparent to users. That's going to be dropping probably next week. That's a whole plethora of PRs, but the last one will be enabling it by default for users. But I think the thing that folks should be expecting to see is that our database, which should have more data in it, is going to be dramatically smaller. So that's going to be pretty exciting.
So when people do this and they get 211 megs of all wonderful vulnerability data, are you suggesting that number is going to be a lower number?
Like right now, I'm about to add like Kev and EPSS data, but before that, it's at like 60 megs. So, and I think it's about to go maybe by a few more megs, but not tremendously more. So,
wow, that's going to be amazing when that lands. Like, you think of all those CI jobs out there that are running Grype against stuff and have to download a chunky database. That's going to be amazing. Oh, so much good stuff happening here. Okay, anyone else got anything else, or should we just dive in?
Let's dive in.
Let's see what we've got. So across all our tools, we have needs discussion. Are there any here that we haven't spoken about recently?
I think we've talked about all of these. Correct me if I'm wrong. So we don't have any conclusions with them, so they're still like a little bit up in the air.
Yeah, there's nothing new on this list. Each one we've talked about in the previous open source stream before, and we're just kind of waiting for them to come up in the queue when one of us has free time to do the investigation and work on them.
Okay. What about pull requests? Have we got any PRs? Oh,
I'm certain we do. I'm looking
There's one
around
right
now
here.
for some.
There's this one. Is this one that we have discussed previously? Where is this one down here? Oh, you left a comment last week. Okay. Do we want to have a look at this PR, or do you have other things we need to talk about?
I think this one just needs the update for the decoder. So either one of us can go under the original author, but we might have other stuff to talk about besides this one.
we could take off the needs discussion label for this one. So I think we did talk about it last time.
Done. Sweet. Gosh, wow. My work here is done. What, like, what do you want to do, guys? Like, play video games or what?
We could jump into like maybe triaging some issues. That's probably going to be probably a better use of time here. Because I'm looking through some PRs. There aren't many PRs we haven't already chatted about, or somebody doesn't already have their name on. So
I did a thing last time to see if that was. Did I do one that was like only new label bug open issue Bob? Those are right. So these are ones that are open and have got conversation. So those are the hot ones. And then I did another one which is that discussed? There was one of them where I said comments less than 5. What was I saying about this critical one? I thought one of them had a comments like equals 0 or something. Did I not do one that had comments equals 0? Variations.
We have the triage view in the
yeah,
OSS project. Might be
Yeah.
good to bring that one up.
I'm actually scrolling through that one right now to see if anything looks interesting there.
Why is this so painful, and why can I not see like?
Hey, or-
It's so annoying because that one's under that one's under Syft. You have to go to the org.
You're
and
right.
projects OSS. Yep.
I'm such a putz with this. I can never find myself.
There's a
Holy
direct.
cow.
Oh, I think you got it. The triage tab.
Nailed it.
Thank you so much. I will share this link, and I should bookmark it or something. And there we go. Boop.
And then just collapse the awaiting response, and then that's the list that we usually look at during triaging.
Nice, sweet. Right. Ooh.
The bottom of that list is the most recent. The top are like you're kind of pulling from the middle.
Okay. So do you want to start from the bottom?
Your discretion.
Oh, I
Okay,
respond. No, sorry. Yeah, it just so happens that I have a couple license issues on Syft that kind of fell into it. So I asked them back what they would like, and I failed to put it into a waiting response. But for those who are following along in the stream, right now Syft does pull deprecated licenses from the metadata of any Linux distro or projects that might list themselves as having a deprecated license. That doesn't line up pretty well with some validation tools that you might use for the SPDX docs. So, or for like SPDX validators. So what we want to do is we want to find we don't want Syft to convert up to the non-deprecated license. That's a little like too much magic happening in the middle, because then someone would look at the output and go, why does the DB say one thing and Syft says another? But we want guidance from the user on what they expect to happen, or maybe there's no answer to this at all. Maybe it's just talk to the upstream software producers and say, you're using a deprecated license, and maybe make them fix it, or have the user explicitly modify the SBOM after the fact to make it valid, with kind of an annotation or comment that like, we subtracted this because it's deprecated. It's a hard decision going forward, so we need more information about what the user expects.
Gotcha. Nice. Thanks for explaining that. What is this? Double D. What?
I think someone
it's a
opened a
typo.
spell check issue. I don't think there's really a lot to discuss there. This person is welcome to send us a PR if they find it very important.
No, I don't think that. It's a quick and easy fix. So yeah, that install has actually been copied to a lot of different repos, and it wasn't found for I think a while. That particular typo. So it slowly gets corrected in more repos as we go. So
Oh, it's the install thing. Oh, okay.
yeah,
But it's in the help text, right? We just put 2 Ds at the
Yeah.
beginning of defaults.
Yeah.
So
Huh.
people can probably figure out what it means.
So like just
I think literally just delete one of those.
And now
Yep.
you're gonna run into the fun thing where when you do the UI commit, it's not gonna sign your commit, so you're gonna have to still
oh, it
figure out
will. It
Oh,
will.
what do you have to change? What do you have to change for your thing to
Boom. Commit. Boom.
they added
Oh,
it.
that's new.
They added it a few months ago. Yeah.
Oh man, that shows how often I use the inline. Like you.
Well, that's commit email. Oh, choose an email address for signing off. All right.
Whoa,
Nice.
big, yeah.
I know,
actual
right? I
stuff
know.
to get on.
I know.
Maybe they'll fix the merge queue next.
What was it was 546. The way I never get this right. You just do fixes
hash 546. Boom. It's so funny. I like instinctively do not use this UI because I didn't have that for so long, and now that I see that it's there, I might. That's so good.
It's glorious, isn't it?
Being approved.
Nice.
All right.
On forever.
Look at that. Oh, yeah. Sweet.
Okay.
Can we get that one approved and merged?
We've got how long? We've got like 40 minutes. I think we could get that one character fix in.
It depends how Quill CI is doing. I don't know. I'm not going to promise it'll work.
Fair. Well, that was a first. Okay, let's pick another one while that's running. So this was opened yesterday. Recently uploaded an SBOM and then scanned it, but when I scan with Vex, it gives an error like this. Okay. Well, my first inclination is to just edit this and make it look nice, like that, because I always do that.
I think that you included one too many lines in the second code block. It doesn't matter. But
oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. Oh no, that's very important. Sorry. I value your pedantry there. Thanks. Right. So what actually is this?
No. All right. So it looks like Grype when scanning an SBOM. That's interesting. They did -- vex, but they passed in a CDX SBOM. I don't know. That's a really weird file name.
I think that it might be the Cyclone DX that has Vex embedded on it, Vex information, which I don't think Grype decodes right now. Grype takes a separate document, if anything, would apply it. So if like you're using a Cyclone DX that has an embedded section that turns off or that puts some filter on the vulnerabilities, then they expect that to work when we don't interact in that way.
Yeah,
right. So
confirmed. This is they passed in a Cyclone DX 1.6 SBOM. So, yep. That's why.
Okay, so let's get a little more context. So Grype can scan an SBOM directly and find vulnerabilities in it. You can also pass Grype an additional Vex document. Vex is a format for specifying things about vulnerabilities. And so you can say, like, hey, for this package, for this CVE, the vulnerable code is not present. And Grype will use that to affect matching behavior. Cyclone DX SBOMs can embed that Vex information and embed vulnerabilities, I think. But you can't pass Cyclone DX SBOMs to the Vex option in Grype. Is that right? And
That's right.
Alex, you said it was 1.6. Does that matter? That's what kind of made me
It
want to
doesn't
understand
matter.
more context.
The Vex document shape that we support is OpenVex, and I'm adding a comment here to this issue about what that is. But if you look up OpenVex, there's a spec, and it looks very different from like the Cyclone DX. It's apples and oranges in terms of like what the Cyclone DX format versus the OpenVex format.
So is this essentially pilot error, or is this an issue on our side?
Pilot error.
Yeah, no, I think
also, it's also that we could support Cyclone DX Vex if somebody felt like adding it. It just doesn't. We don't support that today, right?
Well, but they passed in literally the SBOM, and so this isn't the document they passed in is a listing of components that were found and the vulnerabilities for those. So it's matches. It has nothing to say that. Actually, I lied. Hold up. No. I take back what you just said. There is an analysis section in the document provided saying this is a false positive, not reachable. So that looks, yeah. So Keith, you're right. We could definitely support the Cyclone DX specs here.
right, and we might even not make them pass the same file twice, right? And just say like, hey, Grype's pointed at a Cyclone DX SBOM with embedded Vex data. Grype should respect the embedded Vex data. Maybe optionally respect it in case it surprises people, but that's
Yeah, I agree, and potentially just support it as a secondary source, like scan a container, supply a Cyclone DX document that has Vex data in it. I think there are a lot of different things we could do here.
Chris has a hand up.
I kind of want to do a bit more research into what the non-goals and goals of both of those projects are, because what hurts me here is that OpenVex was designed to be like, when we were working on it, it was designed to be like agnostic to SBOM formats. Like it's something that can be just applied across. And Cyclone DX went this complete other way, which says, yeah, we can support OpenVex, but like that's on them to support it in compatibility with us. We're gonna do the same thing, but make it very specific to the Cyclone DX format. And I don't know, like it's so much extra work and it's so hard already to analyze and understand vulnerability reports. Having two different specs, one at one level, one at the other level, that are trying to accomplish the same thing with that overlap. I want to see what they do differently so that we can really like communicate to the users why they would want to favor using one versus the other when using Grype as a tool. That's my soapbox for it.
Yeah, and there's more than like Cyclone DX. There's also another popular. I think it's more popular in the government sector. Yeah, I mean, it kind of Vex started off as the sprawl. There was like kind of 6 different. I might have the count wrong, but there's somewhere like 5 or 6 different like variations, and now there's more like 3 that people have centered around. But I'm with you, like, picking which ones to implement and support in Grype is going to be important, because I don't think we want to, pick all of them. So.
I think the way I'm looking at it right now is that there's spec compliant data in that CDX JSON file, and we are ignoring. And that means we're wrong and we should fix it. That's kind of my like semi outsider view, but that's sort of my opinion. And like sometimes spec authors are going to make decisions we don't agree with, but we still have to to like be good citizens in the space. We should like support what spec compliant documents mean as far as we're able. So that I think, can I get a quick like thumbs up, thumbs down, like if there's additional like matching data like Vex style, this is present, this is not vulnerable kind of data in a Cyclone DX SBOM, Grype should respect it and interpret it. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, this embedded Vex format it would be good to like basically we implemented support for this format, but then later we allowed for Vex's input. So like we've just never connected those dots back together, if that makes sense.
Okay, so it sounds like this is a feature request that which is to say like, hey, this doesn't work right now, but we agree it should. Throw it in the backlog. Is that
I agree, and probably just retitle it to something like, support Cyclone DX Vex information or something along those lines.
Yeah, I'll rename it.
Nice.
cool?
Cool. Thank you. What happened there? There we go. So another interesting one. I scan, it says that CPE is invalid, but CPE is not invalid. 2461 in Grype.
Would you mind turning those into code here also?
Of course.
Yeah, this is
Of course. I live to express Markdown clearly.
I'll make sure to watch you do it and then tell you did it wrong.
Great.
Or people watching you type. It's like the
Live Markdown International Edition. There we go. Did they attach? Is that the entire SBOM? Oh, okay. Right. Well,
You could put JSON, like space JSON after the first backtext and get like nice syntax highlighting if you want.
does that work in GitHub? I'm so used to using a broken. Isn't there a thing you can do? What was that about? When you put equals on the end, there's a. Oh, I can't remember.
I don't know anything about that. I just like
Beautiful,
I
beautiful.
just like the colors. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm hallelujah, brother. I'm with you on that.
I think there's another weirdness. I think they maybe were using Markdown to highlight that line of the invalid CPE. So that's not actually the CPE.
Yeah.
Because what I'm looking at is definitely invalid, but I think it's got some extra things that don't match the JSON below. So
Yeah.
probably.
The JSON below is the thing to look at. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've had that discussion before. Like, are there actually extra asterisks in this Perl, or are you trying to bold the Perl? And that was confusing.
What do they call it?
Okay, so let's try to figure out what the issue means. It says that CPE is invalid, but I believe CPE is not invalid.
The version field is well, hold up. Let me pull up CPE parsing. Well, I got the version's empty, but is there one too many stars there? Isn't target software the second to last field? Actually, can't remember. So yeah, there's something off there. Let me pull up CPE attributes.
Yeah, I wonder
Maybe
if there's,
check
is there
something.
like a quick Python CPE tool? There's got to be.
Also, there's two colons. There's Dicer : which there should probably be a star in there.
Yeah, that's the empty
Uh,
version field that's missing. Yeah.
I've seen double colons a lot. They're in all the like. But I've been looking at the URL formatted ones too, where it's like CPE:/A or whatever. So maybe those look slightly different. What's the issue number?
2461.
It's in Grype.
Yeah, it's the fact that so we have a regex that's all right, that's the problem. We have a regex that says whether or not we're valid or not, and that's what's causing this log message to appear at all. And it looks like the second that I put in a version, the regex matches. So either the regex is like too strict, or really it's not valid to have a version field be empty. I think you either need a star or a dash here. I have to go read the spec again.
I'm trying to find the answer in the spec right now.
I was trying to find a easy, handy dandy CPE parser, but it doesn't look like there's a nice, easy, handy dandy online one.
Yeah, I'm looking for I found a Python one. There's a PyPy package just called CPE, which sounded really promising, but I haven't figured out how to tell it to do anything. Documentation is available at Read the Docs. I should probably go read the docs. But I just learned you can do you can just do UV run -- with and then a PyPy package and then Python. And then it just drops you into a Python interpreter with that package installed. It just makes a temporary virtual environment. And it's like, so I'm excited to try that out, but it hasn't worked. Like UV is working fine. I haven't succeeded in using it to validate yet.
I mean, at a higher level, I think one thing that kind of gets me here is that the regex in question, I think, is only for this like WFN stringified or string binding format. And it technically, if somebody's going to provide an like a component that has a CPE that is in the other 2 or 3 ways to express a CPE, I think this would also flag them as invalid. And because it's explicitly checking for CPE : 2.3 at the beginning, which is like, I think the big got you there. So whereas like if you like one of the other formats, the formatted string, I don't remember which one it's called, but like it's CPE : /A, and then you have like other fields also : delimited. I don't know. So like one finding I'm kind of getting out of this is like, well, is this regex really right, or should we be parsing this and like should we really just be trying to do a CPE parse, seeing if that, which is considering multiple formats, and then from there, if the parse fails, then put a warning saying this is invalid CPE. Like, I'm trying to remember the need for the regex. I think is what it comes down to.
I am 100% on board for try to parse it with the library, and if the library tells us it's okay, then try to use what it tells us it is.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, there with the caveat of the details there being that we need to recognize if it's like the CPE that's in the URI binding format, which is the CPE : / versus like the generic other way that we have it right here. But we just parse it the correct way and then give it the thumbs up or thumbs down from there. Because there's a really good algorithm in the spec on the specification tells you exactly how to parse it if you can get into that format. So there's a correct way to do that rather than the kind of less precise way of applying the regex that we're doing right now.
Well, I think there's another. Actually, there's another aspect to this. Now I think about it, Okay, so in here we have a validate string function. The validate string function is saying the Facebook MVD parser can sometimes incorrectly parse invalid attribute strings. So it should, which is why it looks like this was added to begin with. Okay, so, but backing up, Facebook MVD tools is a repo that was archived. We actually need to be looking for an alternative anyway. So I think the taller order ask is we.
In case you're following along at home on the stream, and you want to know some of the high level designs for what a CPE library would look like for this, the CPE defines for 2.3 3 ways that you can define it. There's the WFN full modular specification. There's the WFM, the well-formed CPE, that's like CPE:/, and then there's a third binding, which is the string formatted binding, which is what you see in the SBOM in the example on the issue. So there are 3 different ways to write the CPE and get it parsed.
Brilliant. Standards. Aren't they great?
Oh man. Yeah, so no, I could leave a comment on this issue.
You're going to leave a comment on there, are you?
Yeah.
Sweet. This one looks like it could be fun. Should we move on while you're commenting?
Yeah.
Good. Correct answer. Syft incorrectly identifies a NuGet package, newtonsoft.json, as json.net with incorrect version. Uh-oh. Download the newtonsoft JSON NuGet package. What? That's a NuGet package. Ugh. I don't think I have .NET installed.
There might just be a download. There's a download package link on the right, which is going
is
to
that?
give you like the .NET version of a jar.
Oh yeah. Woohoo.
.new package. Is that what they're using in their in the example?
In the
Issue? I don't know. I don't know what a .new package is. Like I don't remember. So like secretly a zip file or secretly
It
probably
looks
secretly
like
a
it.
zip file.
It looks like it. I just renamed it and extracted it.
what is it? A jar or something? Or
It's a .NET like portable library thing. What was the issue number? It went away from the screen before I could.
sorry,
open it.
3665 in Syft. Oh, sorry, I've posted the link. Thank you for nudging.
Yeah. I think this is some like meta commentary for the chat.
Extracted. Oh.
Some sort of meta commentary for the chat. Java and .NET are especially difficult package formats to parse because they're very old and they have a lot of backwards compatibility considerations and they don't have like a single standard way of doing everything. Whereas like some newer languages, there's like a single way of packaging it. That's just not true for everything.
Oh, is it because we're breaking down this name? Is it like a dotted notation and we're taking only the second part.
Newtonsoft.json. Can you go back though? I want to know where I'm trying to figure out where Syft lifted that comment from. Like JSON.net is in the comment.
Yeah, but I mean, it looks like the Perl's the next. Oh. I think it probably pulled it straight from the product name.
Yeah. It's like company name, Newtonsoft, product name, JSON.net. But on the NuGet packages, it's called Newtonsoft.json. So I can see the confusion. Let me see. Use by dependencies. Two. That's so funny, but on the project website, it's called JSON.net. So,
Right. Yeah. I wonder if this is like a namespacing thing.
Yeah, it's right in there. It's in the strings in the DLL.
Yeah. I think.
Or is that another thing that's pulled in by this, or is it renamed, or what?
The way that the .NET parser works, I think, is it reads a specific, kind of well-formed set of name value pairs, and then it tries to figure out which is the one that's actually talking about what it is. And like was said earlier, there's no consistency. Like some group does it one way, and like curl does it another way, and somebody else does it a third way. And so we do our best to try to figure it out. And like in this case, JSON.net is in one of those spots.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like, this probably just is a needs investigation, because you can find like in some of the XML files, like there's a node that's like doc assembly.name is newtonsoft.json, which seems like it might be the name of the thing we're investigating. But I don't know. Let's see what's in new spec. Maybe we need to learn to parse new specs. Sounds like fun.
Yeah, it might. Well,
I don't know. That has title like, so the root of this zip file, there's an XML file called newtonsoft.json.newspec that has title json.net, but it has ID newtonsoft.json. This is one of the reasons stuff like this is challenging, is that we'll probably break other packages if we switch from trusting title to trusting ID. And like there's one .NET package that's got like OpenSSL in it, and like the name is the space OpenSSL space project, and like any reasonable person would call this software package OpenSSL, but that's not what the metadata has in the spot we check. So yeah, it's interesting. It looks like sometimes it is called newtonsoft.json and sometimes it is called json.net.
Yeah, look at the top. Read me, Alan.
It's like right there in the about.
Scroll down. No, Will was exactly correct, because at the top it says that, and then if you search in the package for newtonsoft.json, there's a whole like CS proj file where the product is called json.net, but the assembly name is newtonsoft.json. So just see Will's previous comment about it being in two different places and breaking if we choose one versus the other.
Yeah, and this is interesting because like it's also super frustrating because at least the last time I done it, there were not like JSON support was not wonderful, and a lot of people pulled in Newtonsoft JSON to fix it. So this is the like Jackson data bind of .NET. I think we want to get this one right.
Well, I definitely need to learn more about so this in this property group that they have for the CS project. What is the difference between product and package ID for this ecosystem? I don't really understand. Like
Yeah,
for Maven, group ID, artifact ID, like that's well defined. You kind of know what they are. You know what that means for Maven and packaging and distribution. Like I kind of need that same answer for the CS project file, and things downstream of that.
Well, it's interesting because there's also a lot of to me, there's a lot of files that look like they are a manifest of what's in here. Like if we just do an unzip-l on the Newtonsoft, like the NuGet package, then there's a .xml file for like every supported version of the .NET framework, and there's a .newspec file at the top of the repo, and those all seem like they're identifying it. I don't know where you were looking at the CS proj, though. Maybe I missed something.
No, sorry, I didn't get that from the zip file. That was on their GitHub repo. So maybe it's not packaged with the final software. So I'll read off the same sheet of music and do the zip.
Yeah, well, I think that because the CS proj is like the build instructions, so it might just not be in there, right? But this has title JSON.NET in it, and this is like this document ends in spec and is at the root of the zip file we downloaded. So using that field as the name of a package seems like a totally reasonable choice, but JSON it is not the same as JSON.NET. Oh, so there is a JSON.NET.
Name collision. I suspect that's what it is someone has had to rename at some point.
No, that's yet another curveball on this one. Oh, cool.
All right.
Wait, can you go to that? Like, can you go to the project repo of that one? Of the
yeah, I'm curious.
I want to know. Where? NuGet gallery, and then source repository. What is that one?
On the far right.
For the one that's actually called JSON.NET in NuGet.org.
Where does that go? Wild.
He actually got JSON.NET.
He did. Cool.
I mean, this to me really sounds like the Newtonsoft JSON has a bunch of old stuff that got renamed at some point, and it needs to get updated. And this really is less of a Syft issue than that.
That's the current theory, but we don't actually know that.
Yeah,
that's why I think we just need to learn more about CS project versus NewSpec versus VB project versus, and how that plays into like packaging and distribution.
Let's look at NuGet.config in this directory.
Sorry.
You were in a directory and there was a NuGet.config, which might tell us. Oh, I was hoping that would be like instructions to the package repository about what to call this thing. I was wrong. Carry on.
Global.json's nothing. What else do we get? Boop, boop, boop.
It might be a build artifact.
I just like I want the CS proj to be the thing, and it's just not.
But I mean, that's just instructions to like C# about like what's in here.
No, but there's a property group that's part of the in the zip that like has like the product, the company, the like that we pull the metadata from, right? And I want that to be the truth.
Well,
I'm actually
But I
trying to
don't.
learn. I'm trying to learn how that plugs in downstream into packaging. I actually don't know if which of those properties in the property group are authoritative and actually make it into the binary versus are not.
I just pasted I pasted the path in our Zoom chat that I'm looking at right now. It's like source Newtonsoft JSON, Newtonsoft.json.cs proj. That's like actually in the zip file. And that's what we're pulling. That's what the catalog is being off of.
What zip file are you looking at? I don't have that in my.
Oh, sorry. The zip file I just pulled from the latest release, 13.0.3.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I downloaded the NuGet package. It does not have that.
Right.
The zip file is going to be. I think that the zip file you're looking at is probably a tarball or a zip file, but of a source code snapshot. Right.
That's right.
Right. That JSON, yeah, 130r.zip is that's not the zip file I'm looking at. And I guess there's source code.zip. So maybe did you get source code.zip or did you get the top one?
I got the top one.
Huh.
The top
13.
one, which is called JSON 130r3.zip. But you're right, I should have gone to the NuGet package and the NuGet package repository and downloaded that artifact. That's the better one.
Right. Well, I don't know if it's better, but I think it's the one Syft is more likely to encounter because that's how people are installing these. So I don't want to count on stuff that's only in the GitHub release.
Well, so, I mean, the thing here is that like the DLL in a lot of cases is the only thing I'm pretty sure that Syft finds. And the DLL has this data that I like posted in over there with product name of JSON.net. That's where it's coming from.
Yeah.
There's nothing out, there's no Newtonsoft in that product. Like that needs to get updated. And then Syft would whatever that is.
Right. It has internal name and company name, but it says company name Newtonsoft, product name JSON.net. And
I think there's.
And that's always been there. That's like 8 years old.
Yeah, but there's a bit of another dimension here. In terms of like a container image, this is something I'm looking to refactor in our existing .NET catalogers. But so right now we kind of treat the deps.json separately from DLLs. We kind of treat DLLs as like, oh, this is installed evidence. We treat deps.json as like a manifest of a tool is going to take this and then install something. And that's actually not right. The deps.json is actually a compiler output. And what I don't fully understand yet is like, do you tend to see deps.json files like in the target environment? Like, so I've got a small set of projects as a test case that show, well, yeah, depending on what you copy out of your build directory after the fact, like you would see a deps.json. And why is this useful? Because I think we should be correlating deps.json files with DLLs that are in subdirectories, because it's the deps.json that really has this authoritative, like, well, yeah, you have this set of 27 DLLs, but 10 of these are resources for this one logical package, and the actual library is 11th one over here. And deps.json has that hierarchy in authoritative names, whereas like nothing else really does. And so like I think gluing together like DLL processing and deps.json processing might help us here. Does anybody see like a deps.json? Well, actually, was there a deps.json anywhere in the files or archives that you guys were looking at?
If there's one thing that might be able to be grabbed, which is you might have already looked at this, the newspec.json. Isn't that part of the generated output from the build?
The newspec, no, newspec. Well, actually, I don't know. I'm gonna say I don't know, but
okay.
And you won't see it deps.json in the repo, Alan, because
it's a bit of
that's
time.
compiler output. Yeah.
Right.
And another way to maybe go about this is to actually use Newtonsoft.json in a project, do a build as a test fixture, and see what shows up in that field directory. So I've got an open PR that's mid refactor of the I think that at least the PE cataloger, looking at the DLLs for C# projects, but that's been kind of put on hold because I went to go write the tests and I was like, well, I'm about to write tests that are inaccurate because I know it should be considering the deps.json file. So I kind of said, okay, well, this should come with a refactor considering both of those things together. So maybe I should be considering this project as another example because like maybe that refactor would fix this issue. And I actually just don't know yet because it hasn't been refactored.
So this needs investigation or further research, or?
Yeah, needs investigation. And I'm gonna tag this one to the other issue that I'm using as a reason to refactor that cataloger to make certain incorporate.
Is there a one-line response we can put in here to let them know, we've had a look at this and, I mean, it's tagged needs investigation. They will see that. It's only been 4 days.
Don't really have an answer yet, so I don't.
Yeah.
We could say we looked at it, and then that would be it. We have no answer.
We've got 2 hands up, and we've got 2 minutes left.
Chris.
Yeah, I just for like recording's sake, I do want to say this because of what Alex just said. This probably isn't as easy as going into the new spec and changing what we pull from title to like changing to ID. There's other outputs we want to look at, and there are other fields that we want to investigate to pull before we just make the switch of saying, oh yeah, it's just I don't want someone to come back to this issue and go, hey, did you guys see the spec.json? It looks like you're reading from title and it should be reading from ID. Like, yeah, we've covered that might be a change we want to investigate, but before we want to also look at the other build outputs that would satisfy this constraint rather than just making an easy switch that then has other downstream effects on other packages where it might be the correct thing to pull from title rather than ID. So it looks like an easy fix, but see previous comments as to why it's not.
Sweet. Keith.
Yeah, I would also just, I'm sorry to beat this horse, but like I definitely agree about the like if there's a JSON file that like has information we can use. We're talking about a DLL though. Like if we did an image scan, there's a high likelihood that we'll just see a DLL without some kind of build artifact. And so like this should also be updated at the source so it has the right information if it's not supposed to be JSON.net.
Yeah, but that's the thing, we actually just don't know if it's like, and because I just don't like, we know really well about Java and group ID and artifact ID, and we know so little about C# and product versus product ID versus product. Yeah, see, I can't even remember what they are. So and the other fields that were like that we saw in the DLL too. So like, it could be that value is wrong. I don't know. So I hope it's wrong. It makes our lives easier. So but yeah, if we find out it's wrong, you're right. We should post upstream like, hey, please change your build scripts, etc. Because this is wrong.
Sweet. That was quite a dive. I mean, a deep dive. So thank you, chaps. It's bong. It's the end of the hour. So we need to wrap up. If any of you would like to get involved in the development of Syft and Grype or any of the other multitude of open source tools that we work on, you'll find everything on GitHub, and the doorway to that is anchor.com/open source. We're very friendly people, and we love hearing from new contributors, and we do get new contributors all the time. And it is wonderful to see new issues and new pull requests from people who are excited and want to improve these tools. Because as you've seen, we're quite a small team, and this is a big ecosystem of software that we're trying to catalog. So yeah, all help. Very much appreciated. Any final words from anyone before I press the button? No. All right. I hope everyone has a good weekend, and we'll see you all next week. Thanks, chaps. You've been wonderful, as always. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. See ya.